Aboru boye gbogbo awo aboru boye ẹ̀yin babaláwo èèyàn ìbọrù boye.
Our boy, how's everyone? This is Fakola Day. I'm the Olu of Idinkai Fa Temple. So today we have a really unique discussion that we'll be bringing to you, and it is womanhood, the essence of humanity. So before we begin, I want to remind folks to like and share the video. Those of you who can like and share and post it in different places, please like and share it. Also, we wanted to say thank yous to so many people who all are supporting what we're doing. Tanda Caesar, Shamaringa, Taylor, Awajola, Robin, the Edmonds family. We want to send big shout outs to Tamani, to Miss Ifadara, to Maisha, all of these individuals, to my Oluo, Chief Shalagbede Popola, to Irawo Ifa, to all of these elders who also support us and keep us going with prayers, with information, with knowledge, Akbola, so many of us. So I want to send all of you a shout out at this time, and also to Maritza. Big up Maritza. She's the one who has hooked us up with these great temple elekes, Aboshishir Boato, to all the folks on Instagram. So I want to begin with prayer. Olodumare. Mojuba Olodum, Mojuba Leta, Mojuba Olodumare, Mojuba Bobo Romale, Mojuba Bobo Male, Mojuba Bobo Egun Timbili Solodumare. Mojuba, Oshungwade, Mojuba Guade, Mojuba Fragadamus, Mojuba Tom, Mojuba Flori, Mojuba Palau Corriente, Mojuba Felipe Zaluetu, Mojuba Gunjobi, Mojuba Miye, Mojurisha Mola, Mojurisha Lanko, Mojomi Tonade, Mojuba Eshubi, Mojuba Sejumanada from the first. I won't baba, te Badachu, Ashe. Ejogbe. He who hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas. He who hears people's pleas and approves the pleas. He who talks people's shows the talks and please Lord. He who hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas is the name of Ifa. He who hears people's pleas and approves the pleas is the name of Eshodar. He who talks to people and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed is the name of Orishanla. Orishanla, you're the person most human beings. The person most one cannot fail to impress one. The strike frog is the winter summer's rainfall. The bullfrog is summer's downpour. It is whatever the Ake Rejupon. 2 tells Earth what it accepts, whatever the big rat tells Earth what it accepts. All what I tell you, if I please accept them and approve them. Otorete, we are very thankful, Olodumare. We thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the good things in life that you have provided for us. Otorete, to show gratitude upon gratitude, the all of our gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the all of all benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person will not receive today's gratuity. These are decorating fatu. Funeral Rumale, when going to marry Opwe, daughter of Ishibuji. These are also decorating fatu. Rumala, when going to marry Opwe, the daughter of Ishibuji. I'm grateful. I shall receive my gratuity. Otureti, we are very grateful. Awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure. Adúpẹ́ àná òbúre tùnẹ́bọ̀ Olódùmarè àwa dúpẹ́ àwa búre àwa dúpẹ́ àwa búre adúpẹ́ àná òbúre tùnẹ́bọ̀ orí ẹni àwa dúpẹ́ àwa búre. Àwa dúpẹ́ àwa búre, adúpẹ́ àná òbúre tùnẹ́bọ̀ ìrúmọ̀lẹ̀. Àwa dúpẹ́ àwa búre, àwa dúpẹ́ àwa búre, adúpẹ́ àná òbúre tùnẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́gùn òrìṣà. Àwa dúpẹ́ Àwa bòrè, àwa dúpẹ́ o. Pepper, to get coconut, to get bitter coconut, to get alcohol. Your couple got the alligator pepper, got the coconut, got the bitter coconut, and got the alcohol. That is right. It's now is fully awake. Aluminum, you're fully awake. Please look at me with your eyes of compassion. It is with eyes of compassion that the heavenly stars you to look at the stars below. Aluminum, you're fully awake. Please look at me with your eyes of choke 1, 2, secure. Great wealth is such good eyes at the heavenly stars. You can look at the stars below. Aluminum, you're fully awake. Please look at me with your eyes of choke 1, 2. Secure good spouse is such good eyes. My spouse should use and look at me with a room. When you're fully active with me, thrive to choke 1, 2. There are many children. It's such good eyes a child should use. Look at what decorated play. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of all they ran life. I share. We ask that you would hear all of our prayers. You would ward off all death, ward off sickness, cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights, all challenges and mishaps. Bring to us long life, with spouse, with children, longevity, prosperity, victory over adversity, peace of mind, joy, and all the good things of life. I share. We call on Oshe Aruela, Oshe Tura. Tiny are the feet of Tubu. The stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to abuse its headgear. Had it been enough to abuse its headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my head with it. Use these 5 decorations to Aruela. I'm going on a spiritual mission to Jebeland. We've called local things and pay money. Call salsa and make it rich. We call on Aruela with respect in the Jebeland. Oshe Aruela is a good I will. Ashe. Oshe Tura. I kicking in Bagisa, the actual sharp against the tree, Cassify for room when he used to receive Iban and share from Ola Damar. He was advised of I'm kicking in Bagisa, and the mouth of an wall is like Ziban and share, and the mouth of an wall. If an wall says you should have long life, you should surely have long life. Kicking in Bagisa, and the mouth of walls like Ziban and share, the mouth of an wall. If no one says you should have joy, you should surely have joy. I'm kicking in Bagisa, and the mouth of an walls like Ziban and share, and the mouth of an wall. If you want to have peace, you should surely have peace. I kick in Bagisa, in the mouth of an owl, is I Zibana Shin, the mouth of an owl. To Essin, maybe so, surely shall it be. Ashe Orisha Lenumi, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Obon Mama, we Irumale Oba. Ifa Oba, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Ashe Orisha Lenumi, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Obon Mama, we Irumale Oba. Ifa Oba, Ashe Orisha Lenumi. Timon duro, Timon sure, Timon bare, Timon sure, Bimo kule, timo shure. Bimo joko, timo shure. Ire timo suori tipo. Bimo duro, timo shure. Bimo bere, timo shure. Bimo kule, timo shure. Bimo joko, timo shure. Ire timo suori tipo. Now, we can put our hands on our ori. Our ori is our good luck charms. Our head is our good luck charms. Ori eni larure yeni o. Ori eni larure yeni. Mojulo miufawa mori. Ori eni larure yeni. Ori eni larure yeni o. Ori eni larure yeni. Mojulo miufawa mori. Ori eni larure yeni. Bobore chasu, Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run, àtìbàtì àjò, Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run, ó ṣe àrù ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Ifá, we call on you. We ask that you would continue to ward off death, ward off sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, outright fights, COVID-19, challenges, obstacles in our progress. Please remove them. We ask that this time that you would support us in having longevity, prosperity, victory over adversity, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, having stable marriages, stable homes, stable children. Help us to have healing and bringing together of all of our families today. Ashe, Aboro, Aboye, Aboshishe. How's everybody today? It's good to see y'all. Aboro, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. Hey, what's up, y'all? What's up, world? What's up? So today, as I said before, today our discussion, our topic is womanhood, the essence of all humanity, which is a very powerful topic. And we're going to get into some really interesting things today because I want to talk about interesting aspects or verses that really support and encourage women to higher positions, and also Ifa verses that support and elevate women to, I would even say, positions of divinity. So I want to talk about those aspects. And when I say divinity, I'm also saying divinity not just in the sense of Oshun and Yemaya, Oya, even beyond that, even in women's physical form as being aspects of that which is divine. So I want to begin also again with more prayer to support this gathering. Olodumare, we ask that you would support us. Please continue to ward off the challenges of life, the things that would be obstacles, even in our consciousness and understanding what we're about to discuss today. We ask that you would remove all aspects of ego, remove all negative things, even from me, and let us hear a clear word of Ifa today. Help us to hear a good piece of what Olodumare is trying to convey to us through the messages of Ifa. Ashe. Emma kami meni amo, Emma kami meni ano, Emma kami meni adelo kun tamuole tori Ifa loni mi empora timpanini eni banami. Ati Ifa lelejo. Ashe. So as I said before, we're going to talk about women today. And partly because, Mother's Day is next week, and Mother's Day is such an essential holiday, or if it's even a holiday, but deeper than that, if it's not a holiday, it should be a holiday. It's a day that we honor the women that helped us along the way, the mothers, and not just the women who had physical children, not just the women who are our mothers in the sense of our blood aspect, but also the women who have nurtured us, the women who have mothered us along the way, and helped us to achieve the positions that we are in and become the people that we are, because that also gives rise to the powerful aspect of motherhood. But on another level, I want to talk about not just motherhood, but also the aspect of femininity, the aspect of women. Mothering and motherhood is merely one aspect, which is a huge aspect or contribution that women bring. But there are so many others that women bring to any situation on an ashe level. So we will talk about motherhood, but I also want to talk about not just that, the nurturing aspect of women and their ability to have ashe. So before we jump into any of those things, I want to talk about what I'm holding in my hand. This is Iroke. Iroke. And when we look at the Iroke, on many of these Iroke Ifa, we see a position of a woman kneeling, and we call this Ikunle position. So you see this position on many Iroke Ifa of a woman who's kneeling. Sometimes the woman is kneeling and she's holding her breasts. Other times she's just kneeling as she's kneeling on this. And I often call this like almost an Ifa magic wand, for lack of a better way of putting it. But I want to tell you why. So in this position, we call this a ikunle abiyamo. And within this position, nothing that you say can be refused. When a woman kneels in this position, nothing that she says, nothing that she can do can be, in essence, refused. What I mean by that is this is a position of supplication. This is a position of kneeling to Almighty God. And just by women being in that kneeling position, it, in essence, causes all heaven and earth to bend, basically to her will. That's a very powerful thing to say, or a powerful thing to think about. Women sit or rest within their power, as opposed to men standing or expressing theirs. Women don't have to express, they just have to be, just as this position. And then imagine when we as Babalaos are holding this Iroke with those women and kneeling in this position, what does that also mean? If heaven and earth bends when a woman kneels and is in prayer, and when she supplicates, if we hold an image just like this, then what we hope would happen is that heaven and earth would bend as we pray. Bend to the whim of what is good. Bend to the whim of what is right. Also, this position is the position that is most optimum when a woman is giving birth. So it's not just in kneeling and praying, but also giving birth. This position is so powerful. But here in America, oftentimes we negate that position that most folks would say, oh, that's passive, that has no power, whatever. And when in actuality, this is the cornerstone in the sense of this holds up the universe. Very powerful thing to think about. So as we analyze that, I want to go into the idea of what are women as creatures. When we think about this, when we think about this, I want to bring into the understanding the verse of Oyekulogbe. Ifa says, an old rag is torn once. The newly sprouted banana leaf does not tear anywhere like cloth. This was the Ifa cast for Olodumare at the beginning of time, when he was going to bring Nini Benini into the world. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. So imagine this. On Oyekulogbe, this Odu verse is talking about how Olodumare himself went to cast Ifa because Olodumare was going to bring something new and unique into the world. And he wanted to bring in Nini Benini. Here's the layout of the situation. What was going on is that human beings were needed on the earth. Eniyan were needed on the earth. And Olodumare wanted to create human beings. And in creating human beings, he had to create the first one. And the first one was a woman. And her name was Nini Benini. That word, Nini Benini, literally means a being in the likeness of us. So imagine this. If there were only deities and divinity at that time in the world, and Olodumare said, I want to create a woman to be the divine consort of Oduduwa and help populate the earth. And he creates his best, which is a woman called Nini Benini, and he calls her a being in the likeness of us. He basically saying she God too. She is a god too. She is a goddess too. She is divine as well. When we look at that, how did Olodumare create Nini Benini? Olodumare created Nini Benini definitely in the likeness of him and the other Irumole. But he also created this woman. She bypassed birth. She bypassed the river of water, the river of blood, and came into the world as created by God. And when she bypassed all of this, Olodumare brought her into the world at the age of about 15 while she would be menstruating. And he also created this woman with all of the eggs that she would ever have in her life inside at that very moment. When we look at this, all women are born with everything they need right at birth. Every aspect that they will give birth to right at that moment. They're imbued with all potential in the womb. And so when they are born, they are gifted with everything that they need. This is part of the reason why when we look at the way that women mature and the way that men mature, oftentimes women are further along, more mature. They think they have more forethought than men. They are thinking even far beyond what is just happening in the present, even at early ages. And while men, it might take them a longer time to get to the same destination, perhaps building a family, perhaps building their career, perhaps having any level of forethought in terms of marketing what they want to become or be. Women already have this instinct inside of them to, in essence, project and give birth to so many powerful things. So this leads me to the next Ifa verse I want to talk about, and this comes from Ogbealara. Ifa says, a versatile Babalao is he who imprints on the Opon Ifa. A versatile herbalist is he who consults Osain by pressing firmly against the chest. A versatile Orishanla priest is he who waves the Agiga gong this way and that way. This was the Ifa cast for Orunmila when he wanted to discover the secret of the world. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. So on this Ifa is talking about how Orunmila himself wanted to learn what is the secret of the world. When we talk about the secret, it's also that same energy when people talk about the secret is positive thinking. The secret is all these things. The real secret is that, but it's much deeper. So Orunmila was asked to offer a bow, and he consulted Ifa. Ogbealara came out in that verse, in the divination. He then was told, offer a bow, and you need to offer a bow with the she-goat. And when you offer this a bow with the she-goat, what you want to do, you want to prepare it in a way that it is for the iyapmi, or for basically the internal organs would be exposed to this ebo. So then he was also advised, once you do this, once you offer this ebo and then you offer this epwese, what we want you to do is you take this and place it by a big tree and then go hide in the bushes. Orunmila followed Ifa's advice. He offered a bow and did all those things. He placed it beside a tree and then he went and hid in the bushes. And as he waited in the bushes, the sun went down. And after the sun went down, it passed 10 o'clock at night, nothing. It passed midnight and nothing. Round about 2 a.m., Olodumare saw a woman who was very statuesque and beautiful. And she emerged and she began to consume all of those ritual items that he had left. He stared at her basically in awe. And as he was in awe, she then turned around and said, Orunmila, you can come out now. He revealed himself and he said, well, I offered this ebo. I want to discover what the secret of the world is. And this woman told Orunmila, the secret of the world is women. The secret of the world is women. If you want your life to succeed, you will honor women. If you want to have healing and joy and protection, what you should also do is support women, honor women. You imagine if a temple, if a venture is to succeed, who do you appeal to? You have to make whatever you're doing appealing to women. When you think about music, I thought about Drake. Here's an example. I never was a fan of Drake. All my hip hop fans out there, I never was a fan of Drake. But the thing that I understood, and don't hate on me because I know some people don't write some interesting comments. But in terms of that, I never was a fan. But I didn't understand Drake until I understood the attraction that women have in terms of that music. His music appeals to a certain demographic. And when you think about music that appeals to a certain demographic, namely women, oftentimes that artist that appeals to women, that artist becomes the most successful. When you think about this aspect of women, you also have to think about women in the marketplace. Because when we go to Nigeria, who are the people who run the marketplace, who literally run the commerce? It's women. And when we look at that aspect of the marketplace, the physical marketplace in the sense of here on earth, like going to the mall, women run that. But women run the marketplace of earth. When we begin to think about the marketplace of the other marketplace, women run the marketplace of earth. They are literally the gatekeepers of who gets in to the earth, because the only way you get here, the only way you can come is through a woman. I remember Dr. Yusuf Benyakanan years ago, he said that the way to heaven is through a Black woman. And when we think about that, we can also refer that back to Oyekulogbe and think about the first woman created was also the first woman discovered. When we analyze history at this present time, in about 1975, 1972, I believe it was Donald Johanson discovers, or he really didn't discover, because there were Ethiopians who already discovered and knew, and they found the remains of a woman. And this woman became known as Lucy. Because why did it become Lucy? Because the song that was playing at the time was Lucy in the Sky of Diamonds. So this man decided, we're going to call her Lucy. But we forgot that her actual name, by the individuals, by the Africans in Ethiopia, they called her Deknesh. Deknesh. So when we think about how modern science, even in its modernity, has to bend to what Olodumare has created, modern science bears witness that the first human being was a woman. And when we reach deeper into that, the first human being was a melanated woman. When we analyze that deeper, that all human beings have coded in their DNA the ancestry of this original mother, this melanated mother. We all are descendant from her and connected because of her. Because of this African woman, we are all connected. Because everybody on the earth has her DNA. Everyone on the earth has the DNA of this woman. They call it the mitochondrial DNA. Everyone on the earth has the woman of the DNA of this individual. So let's talk about Ifa in the sense of, what does Ifa say about women, aside from women, but what are roles that we see predominant in Ifa? One prominent role is that of Epetebi. Ifa says on Eretiosa, we run at the sight of conspiracy. It is the roughness of the face of the parrot and the roundness of the unripe palm fruit, which will eventually ripen at a later date. This was the Ifa cast for Orunmila when he was going to marry a leper as his wife. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. The children born of a mother healed of leprosy, affliction, they shall be known as Apetebi. So on this Ifa, the concept of Apetebi is explained. Apetebi basically means Apete e bi, which means we have overcome the illness in order to have a child. This is a very powerful role in Ifa because this is one of the most powerful women's roles in Ifa. I look at Apetebi even as a separate priesthood, because there are things that an Apetebi can do that a lay person cannot. So Apetebi, one of the things that they should know is how to propitiate the divinities, how to basically feed Oshun, feed Orunmila, feed Obatala, feed all of the divinities. That should be one of the stellar things that Apetebi Ifa should know. They should know how to slaughter the hen, butcher the hen, give kola nuts, bitter kola nuts, gin, palm. They should also be the ones who, when the Babalao has shared the message, they're also the ones who take that message and break that message into layman's terms. They're the ones who break it into layman's terms and then make children's stories out of it to educate the children. They're the ones who break it into layman's terms so that women and men who don't understand will understand, because she gave the information. Petabi is so powerful because we as Awo, it is a must that we invest in them. What does that mean? That means if you know something that Petabi doesn't know in terms of Ifa information, it would be a good thing to show and teach. Why? In many Ifa verses, Orunmila, he taught his wife, who was Apetabi, and when he left the home, she gave her the knowledge of how to throw caracoles, or we call them Urindilogun, and she would cast Urindilogun when he was away. So when we talk about this, we're mentioning that the Apetabi also is a co-leader. She is an individual that when the Awo has to do business outside of the home doesn't crumble. The home doesn't fall apart. Why? Because the Apetabi has it in check. The Apetabi has it down. So this is such a powerful role that many times it gets caught up and flipped into something that it truly isn't, in the sense of merely paying homage to the man. No, it's deeper. It's not even that. It's really, she is not the wife of the Babalawo only. She is truly the wife of Ifa. In the Odu Ifa called Okaran Sode, Ifa says, Orunmila asks, we must tie Ide very early in the morning. I say that we must tie coral beads. Orunmila asks, is the Apetabi taking good care of the Ifa shrine or not? We responded that indeed the Apetabi is taking very good care of the Ifa shrine. If the Apetabi is taking good care of the Ifa shrine, then she will be blessed with long life. She'll be blessed with a child to tie to her back. She will be blessed with servants. What is this really saying? The essence of Apetabi is service to Ifa, not service to that Babalawo, not the element that we look at as patriarchy and, okay, she bound down to that Babalawo all the time. No, she's bound down to Ifa, which is what the Babalawo is also doing. Ashe. So I want to also talk about another role in Ifa, and that role is that of the Iyanifa. And there are so many Ifa verses that talk about Iyanifa. I want to just talk about two and give you a story, particularly from one. On this is from Obara Meji. Ifa says, my mother is very knowledgeable on how to consult Ifa and perform Ifa consultation. I rejoice. I rejoice. My father is he who knows how to hold Igbo determinants. I dance. I dance. This was the Ifa cast for Arere when going to Imojo land. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, I will be wealthy, and wealthy just like those people in Imojo land. Here comes Arere. I will have a good spouse, just as those people in Imojo land. Here comes Arere. So on this Ifa, what is Ifa saying? My mother is she who knows how to consult and perform Ifa consultation. Well, I mean, that is the reason why Ifa is saying that is because this woman was sitting there. She knows how to cast Ifa. She knows how to throw the opwele. So any woman that knows how to do that has to be initiated to Ifa. She has to be an Ifa. So in that Ifa verse, it's saying very well that it is important also for that woman, that mother, to know how to cast Ifa. It is important for women who are for women who are Iyanifa, initiated to Ifa. it is very important for them to know their Odu. It is important for everyone to know their Odu. So if we say it's important for everyone to know their Odu, that doesn't leave women out. Women should also know their Odu. Women should also be initiated to Ifa. Ifa has many special gifts, particularly for women. When I talk about Ianifa, I also talk about a Petabi. Ianifa is also the teacher of a Petabi. And when we think about that, all Ianifas are a Petabi as well, because they literally are the wives of Ifa. Lastly, I want to share a verse and a story from the Odu Edigbere. Ifa says, Yung Yung tree is it which wears a crown. The big snake does not wander with its offspring in search for food. When the palm frond hits the ground, it will reveal its scattered mouth lips. They were the owls who cast Ifa for Orunmila when he was told that he shouldn't even offer ebo, and he should not even perform any rites. He should just go back to heaven unceremoniously. Otun, the right, the Awo of Abba town, and Osi, the left, the Awo of Aboshishe. They were the, with right and left are offering ebo, it will be accepted. If right and left are offering sacrifice, it will be endorsed. They were the ones who offered Ifa rituals for Depenu. If a Babalao, if anyone heaps imprecations, curses, and spells upon a Babalawo, they will be for naught. Ashemolere Depenu, Ashemolere Depenu. If anyone heaps imprecations, curses, and spells on a Babalao, they will not be effective. Ashemolere Depenu. If anyone heaps imprecations and curses and spells on me, they will not be effective. Who is it that made me into a king? It is Orisha Oke. She is the one who made me into a king. Who is it that made me into a proud mother? Obaigbo Ifa. He is the one who made me into a proud mother. So on this Ifa, Orunmila himself had cast Ifa because there were some challenges going on. And what occurred when he spoke to the Babalaos, those Babalaos told Orunmila that, okay, Baba, what's going to really happen is this Odu really just speaks of damnation, that you need to go back to heaven unceremoniously. What that literally means for us is that this person will die. They will die, and there's nothing they can do about it. They told Aruma, there's no ebo you can offer. There's no etutu. There's no rites you can do. There's no akoshe that's going to work. It's just a wrap. It's a wrap for you, Baba. You got to go back. In other words, you have to die. Imagine that, being faced with death, being faced with returning home unceremoniously, being faced with returning to heaven. Unceremoniously means tragically. It means that all of a sudden you die. Orunmila was given this information, and Ifa says that he was walking through the streets crying. He was in tears. he was crying with his friends, and his friends were crying too. They were like, wow, what's going on? Orunmila has to go back to heaven unceremoniously. Oh, everybody cried. Everyone was in tears. And as he was crying and going through the town, he bumped into a woman. And interestingly enough, this woman, her name was Orisha Oke. And she said, Baba, what's wrong? He told her, I went to these Babalaos. They told me that I have to go back to heaven unceremoniously. I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do. I can't offer any abo. That they won't take any kind of sacrifice. They won't take anything. I have to just die. And she said, Baba, what's the Odu? He said, it's Odiogbe, Odigbere, Odi on the right, Ogbe on the left. And she then interpreted the Odu for Orunmila. She said, oh, Baba, that's not it. Otun, the right, Awo Baba. Osi, the left, the Awo of a Boshishe. If both right and left offer a bo, it will not be refused. If both right and left offer sacrifice, it will surely be endorsed. She gave Orunmila the words that Orunmila needed to elevate and live. Orisha Oke interpreted the Odu for Orunmila. And if she interpreted the Odu for Orunmila, what would she have to be? Who would be enough to interpret an Odu for Orunmila himself? And then she said to Orunmila, what this Odu is actually saying is that you're going to be bestowed with the king title. You're going to be bestowed with an elevation, actually. And he said, what, an elevation? Yes, you're going to be a king. That's what this Ifa says. And she said the issue is that there's going to be haters in the crowd, though. There are going to be people who wish damnation upon you, but you offer a bow, you'll be fine. You're going to be elevated even higher than what you think. What did we say earlier? What will women do? They will elevate you higher than your own imagination. Even other women will elevate other women to a level that they don't even know. They will be having the right woman in your life will be like a steroid to your existence. Having the wrong one, we won't even talk about. But having the right one, having the Orisha Oke in your life will elevate that life. So she interpreted the Odu verse for Orunmila. And then Orunmila was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. She said the Abo is the she-goat because she-goat is the mother of the he-goat. And then as Orunmila knelt down, his opele fell out of his pocket. And when the opele hit the ground, it was in the form of Odi on the right and Ogbe on the left. He looked at Orisha Oke and he said, Iya, you're menstruating. You are on your cycle. She was like, how did you know? He said, you've been wanting a child. All this time you've been wanting a child, but you haven't had the blessing of the fruit of your womb. And she said, Ashe, this is true. He said, Ifa says, for you to have a child, we need to make sure we offer a bow with she-goat. So what ended up happening is Orisha Oke went and got her own she-goat and gave it to Orunmila for him to offer a bow. And Orunmila went and got his own she-goat and gave it to Orisha Oke, so Orisha Oke could offer a bow with that she-goat. If she's doing all this, this woman is an Iyanifa. Shortly thereafter, perhaps within a year to 6 months, Orunmila was conferred with a title. And within 9 months, Orisha Oke, well, within one month, Orisha Oke got pregnant. And within 9 months, Orisha Oke had given birth to a child. That is why that verse says, "Who is it that made me a king?" Orisha Oke, she is the one who made me a king. And who is it that made me into a proud mother? Obaibo, Ifa is the one who made me into a proud mother. This Ifa is telling us that so many times when we are offering Ebo, or when we're interpreting Ifa stanzas even, it is also good to listen to the Ianifa. What does the Ianifa have to say about it? What can she add to it? I'm talking about these women who studied Ifa. They know Ifa. What do they have to say? They might have something that they can add to that verse. And as you see on Ogbedi, Odiogbe, Orisha Oke transformed the situation from she turned the situation 180 degrees. Orunmila was going towards death, and then she transformed the situation so Orunmila went towards elevation and life. So this is the nature of how we as Ifa followers should be looking and valuing the work of women. We should not look at that work or that contribution as insignificant. We should look at that work as significant. We should begin to look at ways in which women's roles are not being expressed and figure out ways to help those roles to be expressed. What I say is that men and women are not the same. We're not. We have different strengths, different weaknesses, but when we come together, we are complete. When we look at this aspect, what's also happening is we as Awos, we need Ianifa, we need a Petebi, and vice versa, because they will add the contribution that will be as elevating and as substantial as that of our mothers. Ashe, Abora boy. So I thank you all so much. I hope that that was something that made sense and was rich for you. And speaking of mothers and paying homage to mothers, next week, Ayo Temple, the Orisha Temple, is going to be doing a feeding of Oshun, and in particular, female Irumole and Orisha, Irumole and Orisha will be fed and honored and paid homage to. We'll be doing that next week. So they will be working in conjunction with Idinka. They will be doing that possibly at this Ile. We were confirming all of the details, but yes, they should be coming here to do it. And I believe that is next Saturday. Baba Egbeleke has the details, but we'll be posting that on the website. So if you are interested, please come out. If not, please send your contribution. We'll give you the information for that. Also, we want to let folks know that our Itarogun is coming up. I believe the Itarogun is going to be either on, it will be on the 4th, I believe, of this month, which would be Tuesday. So be on the lookout for the Zoom link for that for Idinka because we like to perform our Itadogun casting and do like Oshe, Ifa together. So if you're interested, please be aware of that. Also, another announcement is every Friday we at Idinka we do an Ifa class. This last class was very, very, very interesting. It was on the topic of women and also the topic of Iyami. So we like to address topics that might be considered unusual. So if you are interested, every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, we do this class, and you can register for that class that happens every Friday on the website. You see all the information below, hopefully. Yeah, you see all the information below, idinkaifatemple.com, and you see the phone number if you are interested in that. Also, if you like what we're doing here at Idinka, what we want is your support. We want to keep doing this. So if you have any donations, if you would like to see this work expand or contribute to the expansion of this work, please send any donations that you might have. Last thing I wanted to say is for those of you who are interested, those of you who are members and you've contributed for your Eleke and your Ide, they just came in and they're great. I'm rocking my iced out. I'm doing my, I got 2 chains, 3. So anyway, these are the new Ides and Ilekes for Idinka Temple with the colors of Oshun, which is an Irumule that's very prominent in our Odu, and also Egbe colors, which Egbe is very prominent in our Odu as well. So Ifa, Oshun, and Egbe. So we're honoring all of those Irumule. So those of you who have contributed and you're waiting for your Eleke and Ide, they're on their way. And those of you who are in the city and you want yours, just hit me up and you can get that. So all that information can also be found on the website. So thank you all so very much. Are there any questions before we head out, before we end for the day? So those are the main things I wanted to bring up, but also be aware, I'm going to send out the link for Itadogun by Monday. So just be on the lookout for that on Instagram, Facebook, and all social media platforms. All right, thank you all. Olodumare, we ask you at this time that you would continue to look out for us, to continue to assist us in elevating our lives so that we will see the value of not only ourselves, but also the value of women. Sure. Help to continue to support, to protect, and to ride for women so that we can also see the greatness of our own elevation. Olodumare, please continue to provide that great, loving support. Help us so that we too will be great. I see Ia has posted that tomorrow is actually Oshefa. So we will check and see if tomorrow's Itadogun. I think Itadogun might come a little later, but we thank y'all so much. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboato. Thank y'all. That Baba's posting the information for Ile Ayo Temple. So thank you all once again, and we hope to see you in the coming weeks. Aboro boy. Any other questions? All right.